right, everybody. So thank you for joining me on this wonderful Thursday evening, as always, man. Appreciate everybody who's watching the show. So um, just a little, um, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, guys. This is my first episode where, and I know I'm being a geek about this. I'm actually streaming, I believe, on LinkedIn and a few other sites in 1080p. So the resolution is higher. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I can see it on my end, but it's pretty freaking awesome. Because before most streaming, and thank you, Marissa Callie, for pointing that out. And then I saw uh, guest last week, Rob Alasabas, who was the one doing it on Restream as well. So I do use StreamYard, but now you do have, if you're using the Pro plan, guys, you can stream in 1080p. So that's really high resolution. And if you got the upstream for it, man, I recommend doing it. It's pretty awesome. So I don't know if you guys can tell the quality, but I'm just being a geek about this. Just wanted to tell you guys. So, and already getting comments. Look at this. In 1080p, I'm already getting comments. And people telling me, check it out. Home of the Eagles, David Pollock. Bud, I love you. It's good to hear from you. So, yes, we are streaming live, everybody, across multiple platforms. So let's get that out of the way, as we always do. If you're checking us out for the first time, we are streaming on our YouTube channel. You can check us out there at www.youtube.com/C/Made from Scratch podcast on YouTube. Do us a favor, guys. Please, 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 if you're going to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. We are always trying to build our viewership there. And also hit the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever we do schedule new lives, whenever we are live like we are right now. Excuse me. And then whenever we drop new content on the channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And of course, you can catch us, of course, on LinkedIn. So we're streaming live on LinkedIn. And you can connect with me actually on my profile. So this is where I'm actually streaming to. So if you're going to check us out there, send an invitation to connect. I always love meeting new people. This is where I meet so many new relationships and people. So LinkedIn is such an awesome platform. So if you're on LinkedIn, thank you so much for checking us out. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and we do a special thing that we do just for you guys on Instagram. Instagram gets a little bit different treatment. So Instagram is pretty much just me having a conversation with you guys. But like I say on Instagram, it is our own little, it's our own little conversation. We get to be intimate with each other, guys, on Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram, you can check us out at MFSB Live on Instagram. Appreciate you as always, Instagram. You guys rock. Everybody that's dropping down in the comments. Love you, love you, love it. So, all right. I believe that's got everything else covered. I believe so. Let's see. Yep, I covered everything. So let's get started on this evening's guest. So wonderful to have her on. Where do I start? So I actually met her through another guest that I've had on the show. So I'm going to give a shout out to Michelle Mraz. She was on the show a while back. And once I started following Michelle, I started watching a lot of her lives. And I started seeing this person commenting a lot and saying really great things. So, of course, me being inquisitive and wanting to know more, I reached out to her. We had a conversation. And here she is this evening, guys. So let me start talking about this evening's guest. She is a transformational life coach, international speaker, and change maker, awarded as the Woman of Excellence in 2019 by the Women's Economic Forum in India, guys. She immigrated here from Poland in 2011 and recently became a United States citizen. So while adjusting to the culture here, she had a hard time blending into the surroundings. She struggled with accepting her accent. And during these times, these challenging times, she realized she had more than anybody else. So when we first had our conversations, I just tell she had a different attitude about life and the way that she approached things. And it kind of resonates with what she does and how she looks helping others now. So she's out there really living her life to the fullest. She's out there helping people change their lives, challenge them, finding their passions in life. And I love the fact that she's doing this. She's doing this because she really wants to really help people change, and knowing where she came from. So, guys, do me a big favor. Help me welcome to the show this evening's guest, Beata Seweryn-Reid. How are you doing?
Woohoo!
So let me pull you. There it is. Let me pull you in the full screen. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And before we go any further, guys, you can go to her website, check out her coaching services, and that is at the link down below. And I'm going to put it in the comments as well, so you guys can click on the link. It is at www.beatalifecoaching.com, and that's beatalifecoaching.com. Check her out. You can also follow her on her Facebook, where she does interviews herself. I've seen a few of those, and those are pretty interesting as well. She loves sharing that. She loves sharing her passion for actually for connecting and wanting to go help people find their passions and their drives in life. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Beata. I do appreciate it. And one of the first things that, of course, people are going to notice is, of course, and when I stated in the beginning, is the accent. You did come from another country. But you know what? That didn't stop you from changing your life and changing who you are and driving and wanting to make a difference. So tell us a little bit about that journey whenever you realized that this is what your calling was and what you wanted to do with the rest of your life.
First of all, thank you for having me here. And I have to explain all this excitement because people probably, oh my gosh, she's crazy. I am a little bit being here, but we were just talking with Gabe, and he showed me what is my preview for this show, and I was like, OMG, it's better than being on the Ellen's show. Oh my gosh, I'm so famous. But yeah, going back to so thank you for having me here.
Oh, anytime.
Going back to your question, and yeah, the big secret is revealed. Is not Colorado Springs accent. It's actually from Poland. So yes, it's where I come from, and I was born and raised there. And well, let me take you a little bit on the journey with me.
Yes, please.
So I was born during the time when, I think in US you call it behind the Iron Curtain. So during the communism, I was the youngest of 4 kids, average family living in a small village. And being this small kid going through, it was not easy. It's enough. It was not easy, but deep down, I had always this desire, this dream that outside of this, I call it invisible walls, because we could not leave country. We were, there were so many restrictions, but I did believe that the world is bigger, that there are opportunities for me. And one day I will go there. I will somehow I will go there. And unfortunately, at age 7, I got into a car accident, very traumatic car accident, and I had a brain injury. And a little that I remember from these times, I woke up to this very not nice conversation. I mean, not nice for me. The conversation after the surgery, between my mom and the doctor. And the doctor was saying, "Man, you need to realize that your kid will never be normal anymore. She won't be like the other kids. If she achieves anything in her life, wow, maybe finishing the 2nd grade," because I was in the 2nd grade. And, being even 7 years old, and you don't really understand what is normal, what is not, and what is this conversation about. I had this feeling inside that news is not good. That I had this discomfort inside, and I was living for a while with it. And finally, I came to my mom and I said, "Mom, I feel scared. I heard your conversation with the doctor. What does it mean that I'm not good enough? What does it mean I won't be normal? I want to be normal." And my mom, thank God, she was very smart at that time. And she explained to me, "Kid, you are not born to be normal. You were born to be unique. You were born to be different. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You know, it's what I took to my heart for the rest of my life. And actually, it's my favorite word right now. And the feeling that I have when life gets hard, courage. I became courageous for most of my life. And even later in my life, there was, you know, times that I still had this conversation, the doctor's conversation in my head, hearing that I won't be enough. And it was stopping me many times in my life. Oh, I thought that you were saying something.
No, I'm just taking it in. I'm like, wow, that's, oh my gosh.
You know, and you know, I just want to say, well, it was a physical car accident for me, but later in life, personally, and I believe many of you, how many emotional, you know, car crashes you had? I had many of them, you know, and I just learned later in life that even when it was hard, I was pushing through, but I was having these invisible walls in my life, and they were especially real when I was forgetting who I am really and why I am Beata. Yes, well, sometimes you have to pause and stop yourself when you go through challenges in life and go back deep to yourself and ask, who am I at the moment? Like, why I am here? And I ask this question to myself many times. But making the whole story shorter, how did I end up in United States? So still living in Poland, growing up there, I was taught that, you know, the most important in life, you can have career, you can, you know, you already showed me, I showed to my family that I could finish the school, I could get even master's degree. It was very challenging, but I could get it. But I was told that the most important is to have family, to take care of, you know, it's the old belief that it's what life is about. Have job 9 to 5, house, maybe car back in Poland, family, and it's what is your life about. You can have these dreams, but, you know, be realistic, be normal.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I didn't want to be normal. I knew when I was this 7-year-old girl that the normal is not for me. That's why I'm here with you, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I met this perfect guy that we were together for 11 years, and I was creating, I dropped, you know, I was still dreaming, but I was accommodating myself and my identity around this belief that it's what the life, real life, normal life is about. So I was with this gentleman for 11 years. We almost, you know, we were preparing to get married, and I had this deep desire still to go and do something more and bigger. So I decided to move to capital city in Poland, to Warsaw. I got very good job, and I supposed to start our life there, like preparing so he can join me later, like in a couple months. And it never happened. Well, it was just before our 11th anniversary. I couldn't reach out to him. I was supposed to go for a weekend to celebrate it, but I couldn't reach out, and nothing. Finally, I left a voicemail like, come on, what is going on? Where are you? Are you safe? Did you have accident? I don't know. I cannot reach you. Nobody can reach you. So late at night, I received a text message that, you know, you don't come back for this weekend. You don't have to come back at all, because have your life in Warsaw, because I'm with somebody else. Ooh. And, you know, many people is like, oh, it's just you know, and the end of relationship. It was not just for me at that time, because it was very emotionally painful, and it took me for a while on a depression trip, and it was not a pleasure. And you know, it can be a relationship, it can be a job loss, it can be anything in your life that will put you
Yes.
on this challenging journey. And what then? You have two choices: to stay like I did in this darkness for a couple years, or then I woke up and like, okay, I don't even like myself. Who you are? Who do you even remember? So this question was coming back. Who you are, girl? Why are you here? Uh, do something. So it was the time when I decided that I'm gonna go for a year for a healing to the United States.
Hmm.
And here I am. I all what I could take, it was one suitcase, yes, on the plane. So I'm coming to the United States, to Colorado Springs, because I visited Colorado before, and you know, I've got this another great job, had friends, and what I was not happy. What the heck? You came here to be happy and you don't like what you have. You don't see your opportunities. Big United States, the dream came true, and you still don't feel it, don't see it. Why? Because wherever you go, there you are with all the baggage that you are bringing in your head with you. Yes. So
Yes.
yes, I unpacked my suitcase, but I did not unpack my
Yeah.
mind. Yes, from all the stories that I was carrying from for all these years. So going further, it was a really difficult, and it's when I decided, you know, it's very hard for my to help myself. I had to reach out to some mentor, to some coach, and I did, thank God. And that person helped me to realize that it's not enough to, you know, read the books and listen to podcasts, and but there have to be action after that. Unpack your BS. I don't know if I can use that here,
Yes, you
but
can. You can use whatever you want, Beata. You
all
can.
right, all right. So I unpacked my, you know, bullshit stories,
Yes.
and I started realizing that it's not about the circumstances around me. It's not about what the other people were saying. The other people opinions of me are not and were not none of my business. Like, come on, people can tell you what you are worth based on what they feel about themselves. Yes.
Yes.
So when I decided to go on this self-development journey, everything started changing. But again, the change started from within. It didn't change outside of me anything. It was all the same, but I started just seeing all of it differently. And there was also the time when, especially at the beginning, the language. I'm
Ah.
speaking English, but you know, I was hearing my accent and I hate it. And I put another story in my mind that people like I knew that I want to help others, but I heard myself and I was like, oh no, who is gonna work with this? So these old stories were coming back. You know, it's not possible, really, at least in human life, I guess, that you just gonna change in one day. Change is not possible in one day. It's gonna take day after day, layer after layer, you know, like peeling the
Oh
onion.
yes. Mm.
Yeah, right. Because
Yes.
sometimes we want, like, we are the instant gratification. Yeah,
Yes.
humans, like, we want it now. I go for a coaching and I finish, and it should just, yes, you will make a progress, but this old belief, they might come back to you. It same happened to me. So I was still hearing this, not enough, maybe, or maybe your language is
Yeah.
not as normal, your
Exactly.
accent is not
Well,
normal, like.
and here's the wonderful thing, though. I mean, yes, you were hearing all those things. Yes, all those things were going through your head. There's people here who are in this country and don't have that problem and still can't get past that fact. So for you to realize that and to go, you know what? I know what I want to do. I know what I want to, how I can get what I need to do. And for you to come over here, and what I say when somebody comes over here, like what you did, you came over here, and I'll tell you right now, you came in here with you came in here with a big disadvantage. There was a barrier for you already that most people who don't come from somewhere else don't have. So if you're born in this country, you don't have, a lot of the times you don't have that barrier in front of you. You saw that as a barrier, and you know what? It still didn't stop you. So what does that say about your character? What does that say about you as a person? It says a lot. And that's why I say I would rather listen to somebody who's went through that, learned that, and is out there helping people go to the next level, because again, that's just telling me how much of your resolve was to get where you wanted to go. And again, it speaks volumes of who you are, and what you're doing. And it's incredible. I'm still sometimes flabbergasted that some people who have all the opportunity in the world don't take advantage of it and don't realize that they have these advantages at all. I mean, it takes them falling into, like what you went through a deep depression and going through these dark periods. I know, I'm sitting here, I'm proof of it. I went through the same things. I went through a lot, and I didn't even have those disadvantages. So when I see somebody like you, again, I can name off other guests that I've had on who went through a lot of the same things. I tell them, you guys have all the admiration in the world from me. You've actually done something beyond what you thought that you could. You went beyond what your limitations and your barriers were. You went through a lot of things. You went through what doctors told you couldn't do. You still did it. You went through when you came over here and learned a language you didn't know, and everybody told you it was going to be hard. You did it. You're still doing it now. You're going out there helping people's lives. You're still doing it. You're more of an inspiration to me and to a lot of people because of what you do. So that's why I say, I see you and I go, that's why instantly I said, I got to reach out. Because I saw all the great comments you were putting in there. I saw you were interacting on the show. And here's the thing. If Michelle thinks highly of somebody, that means a lot. So I see her, and I really hold her in really high regard. We had really good conversations together. Even when she came on the show, I mean, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was so fired up. She got me so pumped up.
Michelle is awesome.
and so when I see people in here's the thing, when I see people in groups like that, when I meet somebody and I go, wow, that person is incredible, and then I go watch them and I go see the people that surround them, those are the people that I'm instantly attracted to, because I go, wow, if they're connecting with these people on these levels, that's somebody I want to know. I want to go learn about. So that's why I reached out to you. And then when we had our first conversation, I was like, man, she's awesome. Because again, you went out there, you knew what you wanted to do. You knew that you took on coaching. You went to go find a mentor because you knew that's already the first step. That's harder for most people, is knowing that I need help.
Right.
You know how many people will say to themselves, I need help. I need to go find somebody to help me. Most of the times people won't, because they feel whatever's holding them back. I don't know, their insecurities, their
the story. It's always about the story.
Yes, yeah. Right. So we put that wall up in front of us.
Right.
When it's not necessary, and we go, you know what? And we hide it under the guises of procrastination, and we hide it under the guises of, well, it's just not the right time, and it's not. We'll find whatever resistance. We'll find whatever we have to do to put that barrier in front of us to hold us back, because then we say, well, I couldn't do it because of this. When most people, I've found out by having enough of these conversations, the reason they become successful and the reason they go find the things they want to go do in life is because they take action.
Yeah.
I mean, you took everything that you told me with your story and everything that I just heard, every single thing equates to going to take action at some point. Going to go find a coach.
But if I can add something here, except before action, before I took actions, I had to also make a decision.
Yes.
You know, that I have to. If I don't like my current circumstances, I have to do something differently, because doing the same stuff over and over is not gonna change it. I'm gonna get the same results. Yes, and also reflecting on what you just said about that. For you, maybe it sounds like I did something extraordinary, but for me it's what I had to do. If you want to be on that level, you have to leave this level. So that's why it was so normal and natural for me that I have to do something with this unhappiness that I have here, if I don't want to wake up a year from now or 5 years from now in the same position. So it's funny, people, but what you think is extraordinary for others, it's just what they have to do. It's the decision that they make. I have to become no matter what person, because otherwise I will wake up in this shed and I don't like it.
Exactly. And and here's another thing, right? To make the decisions, right? Once you made the decision, this is a big one that gets overlooked a lot. Is it, first of all, you left your home, right? Somewhere you grew up at and learned learned the culture that was part of ingrained in who you were growing up, to leave a country, leaving the security, leaving all the things that you
Right.
knew that were comfort, and going somewhere else and doing something completely different. That takes a lot of courage. So that's why I say a lot of us here in this country don't do that. We don't take that step. They don't know that we're still, quote unquote, living in a land of opportunity. We don't take advantage of that. We don't see that. I know I've in the last 2-3 weeks, I've had guests on. I had one, Irina. She came from the Soviet Union. I mean, she lived through communism. She lived through all of
Yeah.
it, and to come here to change her life, that is a big step already before doing anything else. And whenever I meet people who take that step and they tell their stories and their journeys of, well, when I grew up here and then I had to move over here and learn everything else, that's a big thing. We're it.
You
I don't like to overlook that. I just want to point it out. That's really important to
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that is so true what you're saying, because it's basically like becoming in new country, but the language you think but it's still a barrier when you hear this slang. Hey bro, hey sis, what? What up? And like, okay, where I am. Yeah, I thought that my English is pretty good, but I guess it's not that good. So yeah, I had to learn all of that stuff. And so it's basically like you're going back to the baby level, and everything. To register a car, you cannot, how many funny situations I had. Some words I don't know all the words till today. This, like, special technical, I don't know. So I had to Google that. What is that? How do I explain that? And you don't have that barriers. But it's so normal and natural for you that you don't think about that. And
yes.
for me it was, and just surviving and going further and pushing myself. And I'm smiling today, but there were a lot of days and nights when I cried, and until I fall asleep, and I was doubting, like, why did I do it? I was so safe in Poland. If I just only stayed a little bit longer, maybe my life would change. This is another BS that I was telling myself, because it was not about the circumstances. It was about my thinking and what story I was telling myself.
Mm,
Today, oh,
I love that. Say that
thank
again.
you.
Say that one more time, because that was awesome. And people listen to that again. It I mean it.
Well, again, it was all about my story, not the circumstances. I left Poland expecting having this great life, and I had to learn all, from the scratches. I had to learn to live and to communicate, and even to, fix my car. I had to, okay, let me check a Google. I don't know what you call it. It's what I need to say. Yeah.
Yes.
So, or this funny when I had to explain with like using my hands, and people were like, what you saying? I was like, oh no, God, please help me, angels, please come, you help me.
It is, but that's again, this is why whenever we talk about mindset, right? It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are.
Right.
The and I like this word. Somebody told me this word the other day. She said, I like I love hearing when people talk about mindset, but I like calling it their vibe set. And I'll tell you why. It's because what resonates from them. That's what comes, what you feel, and that's something that people connect with. They connect with their vibe. They connect with, and when they change your vibe inside and your mind and everything else, everything comes across differently, and people take notice. And
because
I said,
you see it differently.
You see it differently. Yes. So that's why that's why she said, I like calling it vibe set. And I said, I like that. It's a different approach. Because people generalize the word mindset a lot. And it's not that it's not the because we're talking about the mind, but it's because again, the mind is a lot of things. So you can talk about the brain and how the brain is controlled by the mind, and the brain controls the heart, and we have to operate with all of those things in tune. And it all starts with how we put out that vibe of who we are. So if somebody's depressed or angry, you can always tell. You can read their body language, you can read their vibes, you can read whatever it is about them, and you go, okay, something's going on with this person. And you feel it, you can see it in some points. And when somebody has that vibe of always being smiling in a good mood, and a lot of the times that people aren't used to that. They say something's wrong, something's got to be wrong with that person. Nobody can be that happy. And you say, yeah, it is. I've changed my vibe, I changed my mind, I changed how I believe in what I do every day. So yes, I can be that happy because I make the choice to, right?
And it's very easy to actually notice. It happened to me. I was still working in this regular job when I was going through transformation, and I didn't even notice much change in me. But people started saying, and it was so funny. Oh, did you change your hair, or did you change your makeup? Something is, you're more like brighter. Something is different about you. Why you're so happy without a reason? And I was like, wow, this shit works. Like, oh my gosh, like this, I like it. So if you like something, do it more. And if it, brings you fun, play with it. Like, oh my gosh. And it's,
and if you don't know,
is possible.
If you don't know how, go ask for help.
Absolutely.
Find somebody that can. If you want to do change, you just don't know how or where to start. That's why people like Beata are out there doing what they're doing, so that you can go connect with them, send somebody a personal message and say, hey, look, I love your attitude. I love your approach to life. I want to know how I can get there. That's how you open a door to connection with somebody and go, this person possibly could help change the way I live the rest of my life.
That is so true. And I have to share with you the notification that I when I came from Poland here, people in here, they are really, really hard. It is really hard for them to ask for help. And I don't know why. For me, I guess I had to do it because if I didn't know how to get from this point there, I had to stop and go and ask in English, not in Polish, how to get there and find out. And I noticed my friends at work back in the time, they knew that there is no issue for me to go and to find out. So, go Beata, you check, you go and ask. And I said, why? It's just a question for, can you help me? And if you can, great. If not, do you know someone who can help me? It's really not that difficult, but we have this inner walls and barriers because of judgment. They can think that I'm less, or they will think that I'm not smart enough, and we pretend. people, please stop pretending. I went through that story. It's not working. It's not fun, really.
It isn't. And again, just like you said, it's simple. Simple, something so simple to do, yet we complicate it so much
Yeah.
by again worrying about our own insecurities and judgment from others.
Right.
I mean, this is
Who cares?
right. I'm at that point too, where my journey was, and I can understand all that. I went through a lot of that. I know. I would be a hypocrite to say that I did it, but that's the whole thing is you have the opportunity to change that. The way that you go learn and open up and ask people who you want to go learn this. What I'm doing now, this show that I'm doing now, I learned how to do a lot of these things because I went and took the time to go ask for help. I asked people, whoever would sit there and take their time and share it with me. I went to go ask because I thought, if I'm going to accomplish this, if I'm going to do something like this, I don't know where to start, but let me ask people. And here's the wonderful part. So many people were so open and willing to help. It's amazing what happens when you just ask. Right. Somebody will go, sure, I would love to share my experiences with you. You want to learn from me? Yes. I mean, and they start opening up, telling you all the things, giving you all this wisdom and experience that they've gone through, and just sharing themselves with you. I mean, man.
Because we love to share what we are passionate about. Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, if you come to me and ask me about this thinking mindset, I love it. So I can talk like 48 hours about that shit, and you will say, okay, but I'm sleepy. It's time to go to bed.
But you know what? But again, I'm like you. I don't get tired of hearing it, and there's a reason why. Because it keeps retraining your brain to learn to do these things over and over and over again. So
repetition,
the repetition. So now that whenever I have a question or what I need to, or if there's something that I'm really interested in learning, I'm like a kid. I start asking, hey, can you tell me this? Or, hey, can you show me, can you introduce me to somebody who knows you? Or do you know somebody who might? And at that point, more than 9 times out of 10 are like, yeah, sure, let me connect you with somebody. Yes. Here, talk to them. They know more about this than me. Go learn about it. And then boom, somebody will share information with me. And man, I'm learning all this stuff, and people are willing to talk about it and share what they want to do. Because again, I think that's something that all of us have in our hearts. We all want to at some points want to teach. We want to help pay it forward to somebody else because somebody else did this for us.
And you know, especially when you start working on yourself and you are deeper in this, awareness, your awareness is deeper, you start surrounding yourself with that and attracting, because universe, you attract, like attracts like. So you are starting attracting people that will help you because they just love you for who you are. And I don't know if you have this experience, but sometimes when I say, why you just don't go and ask, and it's like, oh, I'm not that confident like you are. People, you won't get confident without taking actions and going there. It's just expanding your confidence, it's expanding your limiting beliefs and limiting, mind that it's not possible. Everything is possible if you decide to.
Yes. I mean, again, some people, again, just if you take the time and really think about it and say, you know what, I think you become more confident if you just open up and go literally ask people about whatever it is that you're looking to try to figure out. I mean, in so many ways, you have really good experiences most of the time because you're learning things as well. And most of the time, more people are, again, really open to sharing. So if there's something that you want to learn about and say, hey, let me ask you about, for example, like what you were talking about earlier about cars. So you go to somebody and say, hey, you're a mechanic. Could you kind of explain to me something about this I'm having these kind of problems, and explain it. More times, especially if it's somebody who or somebody that's a really good, somebody recommends them to you. More times that they'll tell you, yeah, sure, this is what the problem is. This is what you need to do. Look out for these sort of things. And it kind of prepares you for whatever it is you're supposed to be, whatever's supposed to be happening next. It's the same thing what we're doing here. I mean, changing somebody's mindset and changing somebody's life and changing the way, the thought process that people have. I mean, it's like you have to put in, it's going to take work, but it also takes you being able to ask the questions so that show that that you're willing to learn, not just saying, hey, okay, I want to change, but really understanding that what it is to almost be like a student, to ask, that's why the teachers always ask the quiet students, you don't have any questions,
Right.
there's nothing that you want to know. And it's always a kid that's raising his hand. Yeah, I have a question. I want to know. Those are the brave ones, because those are the ones that don't care about being judged. And then the other people just be quiet because they say, well, I don't want them to think I don't know what I'm talking about.
I would like to highlight the word that you just used, because it's very important. You said, I'm willing. Oh my gosh, this is a magic 2 words. I'm willing. And it's taking you on this decision path. Like, if you are willing, you will do whatever you have to do. And the other thing is, I think that you will agree with me, it's okay to say that I don't know.
Yes.
It's so okay. Oh my gosh. You know how many times I had to go and ask, I don't know. I don't know if we have time for short story, but it's funny, so you will laugh probably.
Yes, come on.
So when I started working in one of the hotels in a service industry, I had the function, and my captain came in. We were preparing. It was just me and her, and I was still so unsure about my English. And she said, "Oh, Beata, can you bring extension cord?" And I said, "Sure." And then I go to the back area and said, "Holy shit, what is extension cord?" Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. And I didn't have had phone and Google that. So I was like, what I'm going to do? There was no one to ask. And I was so, afraid of judgment that I will go and look stupid. It's what I thought. But finally, I was like, okay, you have 2 choices. You can stand here and think I was all these combinations. I know kind of what is extension, but I didn't really know. I was more thinking about extensions, like the hair extensions. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I can just go and ask. And I came back and said, I'm sorry, I don't really know what is extension cord. And she showed me, and I will never forget that. Yes. And she was so nice. There was like no shame, and she was not judgmental. People are really good, in helping, and they feel like compassion. And they are really seeing you like you're brave when you're asking. So It's one of my million stories that I had.
I love that. I literally love that, because again, I know folks who have really taken the same sort of situation. They don't know about it, and it's always interesting to see the ones who immediately right away go, what is that? Those are the ones that go, oh, okay, you don't know what that is. Look, let me explain to you, or let me go show you right now. We'll go figure that out right now together. And then you see the ones who, again, already know or don't even take the time. They walk off. They're sitting there going, what am I supposed to be getting? And they won't even have the courage to come back and say, what am I supposed to be looking for? And they'll sit there until you have to actually go look for them and say, hey, what are you going on? And then that's when they go, what am I supposed to be looking for again? And then you're like, oh, if you would have saved 30 minutes of time, you probably would have saved yourself a lot of headache and heartache sitting there pondering what you're supposed to be looking for. So I've always been, if I didn't know what the heck I was supposed to be looking for, that's the first thing I would do, because I'm not going to spend 20 minutes standing around thinking I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I would just immediately ask, what are you talking about? I got no clue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm the same way now, but then it was like my first days, and I was like, oh my God. But it's
Well,
ego. Yes, it was ego
ego.
talking. Like,
Yes.
wow, that she will think less about you because you don't know. I was like, and what? Go and find out. Yes, like who cares what she thinks? Job needs to be done.
And and I think a lot of that times it goes back to the person that you're connected with, or you're learning from, or whoever's teaching you or mentoring you, whatever it is. If they lay that out in the very beginning, I think it's more
Right.
comfortable for somebody to go. That's what my mentor did when I was first learning the job when I got started a couple years ago. Um, he said, first of all, he told me, look, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please say something right away. There's no dumb questions. He laid that out from the very beginning. So I took it upon myself. Okay, cool. I know I can go back and ask him or whatever, go see what it is I'm supposed to be doing or whatever. Took a lot of the pressure off, so I didn't feel like uncomfortable going, what am I supposed to, or how am I going to figure this out, or what am I supposed to be looking for? He took a lot of pressure off of me by just telling me up front at the beginning, instead of
Absolutely.
just being assuming and saying, well, he knows what he's doing, right?
Same in my industry, in coaching. I said this, this I say this at the beginning. There is no judgment. I won't laugh at you. I'm here to help and support you. And if you think that I'm judging you, you need to tell me right away. But there was never a situation. You can say whatever. And I think I went through so many changes and situations that there is not too many, situations in people's life that I will do like, oh, what? Oh,
Yeah.
no. I was like, oh, right. Tell me more about that.
Right. You can just be open and honest and say
Yeah.
say what it is and what you're feeling. And I think that's why a lot of people, whenever they connect with the coach or somebody to help mentor them, that's one of the first things that they really understand about that person is that, okay, I can talk to this person and not worry about being judged or my insecurities or anything like that. They know, um, they know what my situation is, and they're here to help me. And I think that's when you realize that, when you start working with somebody,
Right.
it becomes so much easier. The situations just um, talking and opening up. And I think that's where you really start getting really in depth about learning who you are as a person, and then just learning how to change your life. I think that's one of the first key steps. It's just being that way where you can be transparent with somebody and say what you really feel in that moment and just get it off your chest instead of just holding it in and waiting for another time for it to go, whatever you want to
Right.
wait for the perfect situation. There's never a perfect situation. You just really have to open up yourself and say, hey, look, I feel this right now. I'm feeling this, the work that we're doing, or this what we're trying to get into. I don't feel confident about it, or I feel uncomfortable in this moment trying to open up. Okay, cool. You tell me that right away. I know how we can work with it and work and we can approach it in a whole different manner. But if I don't know that from you, I mean, it makes it more difficult, right? I mean, and that's what
Yeah.
you do. You're here to help, so please.
Right. But I think you notice probably in your world as well that it for people is very, for our humans, are very difficult to talk about emotions. We are so scared about talking about emotions and how we feel, so we just keep it inside. It's not gonna go anywhere. You're gonna get frustrated and explode, or gonna get anxious and be nasty. you know
Yes.
Release it. Talk to someone, like you said. Tell me how you feel. It's not a sin to talk about how you feel. I think a lot of people, especially in during this lockdown time, people are, they don't feel comfortable, they feel uncertain, and they still keep it, or just put on Facebook some crazy stuff or other social media. It's not gonna, just posting is not gonna take your frustration away. You have to have a real person that you can talk to
Talk to, yes.
about.
I got a friend in England, and she, she's had a past where um, dealing with some mental issues in her life and things like that. So, periodically I just send her a message and, how are you doing? what is going on in life? Is everything good? Are you taking care of yourself? Are there issues that you want to talk about? Because again, um, just hearing that from the right person at the right time, a lot of the times that's really what we need, and feel that connection and go, yeah, you know what? I'm not alone in the world. Somebody cares about me. It'll be
And
okay.
it's very important to hear it, actually. Yes, like, come on, if someone is saying I don't need that word, you're lying to yourself. You're probably lonely and scared inside. We all need it. We are humans. We love others to, even when you say that you are empath and you are okay to be on your own, how many empaths I hear on Facebook and other social media during these times, I really would appreciate to talk to someone. We are like human people. We like others. So
Yes.
reach out. Don't wait till you can meditate and pray and do all other craziness. No one is gonna show up if you don't reach out. So
Yeah.
reach out.
It's yeah, exactly right. And that's the whole thing. I mean, you feel it. If you feel it, and you know that you know yourself. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I need to send somebody a message.
Yeah.
I don't feel okay. Reach out to somebody and just say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling my best. You got a minute to talk? Most of the times you start out a conversation like that, somebody's gonna be like,
Yeah.
of
Right
course,
away.
yes, of course. What is going on? Talk to me. I mean, um, and from there, I mean, you can work out so many things. And you know what? Guess what? It might not solve the problem, but at least you know it's out there, and somebody out there really cares enough to say, yeah, I'm your
But
friend.
but very often it's not really people don't want you to solve the problem. They just
Yes,
want you to be heard. Yes, like,
yes.
just hear me, that's it.
I
Just
don't.
listen. I don't even want any advice. It's what I sometimes hear, just hear me. And there is this all emotional frustration coming out, like, okay, are we good now? And that person is like, oh, it's lighter, it's good.
Yes, it is, and it feels good to open up that way.
Right. Yes.
I know because I've unpacked a few of my, like you talking about, unpacked some of my baggage on people. I afterwards I felt uh, amazing afterwards, because I felt, you know what, whew, I just had to get it. Whatever I was carrying with me, I had to get it out. I had to share it to whoever I needed to share it to. And now that I know it's out there in the world, I'm good. And that's all it takes
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, and then you get people like this, right? Um,
Mishamras.
I hope you're feeling better. You just went through a lot with your surgery, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just want the best. She's such an awesome human being.
I'm sure she's good. She on a probably die when she's dying. She still will be so moving, and people are like, oh, calm down. She's this excited person all the time. No,
Yes,
I
she
love you,
is.
Michelle.
Yes, she is. So she's incredible. And again, if you missed the first sharp, Michelle, we were just talking a little bit about you, because we wouldn't be here if I hadn't connected with you. So
Right.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um, all right, Beata, this is the question that I ask everybody that comes on the show, well, except for two people. But other than that, I'm going to ask you. So when the book is said and done on Beata, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? And what is it that you want to be remembered for?
Wow. That is challenging question. um, Legacy. I want to make sure that whoever crossed the paths in life with me, I left some meaning for them. They are like, oh my gosh. When I met with Beata, I just felt better. This vibration, this good
Yes,
energy. That's enough for me. That's enough. But if I could do more, I would love people to learn to think for themselves first, which I'm all about my teaching. independent thinking. Do not believe in other people's stories about you. It's none of your business. Go and check for yourself. It's what I want to be known for. And like, oh, Beata, oh, it's the one, this little Polish girl with this broken English that was teaching about independent thinking. And I was like, yes, it was me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know what? That's another thing that people will never forget. And I promise you that is people who you make an impact and come across their path. You might have seen this as a hindrance early on in your journey, your English, but that's the thing that they're going to remember. God, I remember her voice, her telling me all these wonderful things. I remember it like it was day, and that is going to be the calling card. That's going to be the thing that's going to, gosh, she was awesome.
You know, I received this morning I received a message from past client, which is, oh my gosh, she said, thank you. And I posted even because it made my day. I'm so excited. So thank you for encouraging me to think differently, to grow differently, and, you know, take the life in my own hands. I was like, oh my gosh, it's all what I want. Just this one person, one life, one step at a time. If I touch one person, I'm good.
Oh, that's how I live. I love that. I live by the same thing. I just got to make that one little. I don't have to have 100. I don't have to have 50. I don't have to have 20. I just need one person to make that impact on where I go, wow, that really impacted their lives, and it changed the course of what they went through for the rest of, you know, their days on earth. And that's such a wonderful feeling to think about. And my whole thing is, I hope that these videos and everything that I create and share out in the world go beyond just my time. Hopefully somebody finds this, I don't know, 20, 30 years in the road, who knows where it is. And they see it and they go, wow, what they were talking about and what they were sharing just connected with me. And it helped change my life. I said, you really don't know where impact is going to come from, and
absolutely
how it's going to affect your life. And I tell everybody this, it was a video from an actor of all people, a video from an actor that changed my path and my course in life. And it had to be for me to listen to at that moment and that particular time in my life to really go, you know what, I heard it and it just connected with me and started me down a 2-year path that really changed the course of who I am as a person. And that's why I say it doesn't have to be right now. This thing could be in 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. It could be somebody does a Google search and wants to find out who Beata was.
But, you know, also, if I can just jump in here, we never hear the message until we are ready. I hear some messages over and over, and like 5 years later, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. It speaks to me. And I know that I hear it like 100 times, but when you are not ready, you won't hear it. And also to this touching one person and one soul at a time, I believe that when we touch one, they will pass it on, and this ripple effect will go around the world. And it's all what life is about. Yes.
Oh yes, that is definitely what I love getting up and doing every day, having these conversations with people and putting it out there in the world. Because again, I get it just as much from it as anybody that I share it with. So to me, this is the special part of what I get to do every day. This is I'm essentially living a dream of connecting and changing people's lives. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And this is what I tell everybody: you got a voice. Doesn't matter where you're from, where you're starting, what your past was, but you got to at least start taking make that choice to go put your voice out there. And it will connect with somebody. Somebody will hear it. Somebody will have to go, you know what? I just heard your voice and I knew you were the person I was meant to talk to or work with or have me mentor, whatever it is. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I don't believe I don't personally, just me, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe things are supposed to happen for a reason. and you're supposed to meet the right person at the right time, and that's how your life is supposed to be connected. And I'm always going to be a proponent of that, because I think that's what happened for so many things in my life. Person had to be there at the right place at the right time. Like you said, sometimes you're not ready to listen to it. You're not ready for the message. It takes being in that right moment for everything to go click. I got it. It makes sense now. So thank you so much, Beata. That was
absolutely.
I love this conversation. I love having you on, and then I loved everybody else for joining along and dropping it down in the comments. So thank you, Michelle. This woman, this is why I say this woman is a beast. She said, her comment is, I'll be doing my live breaths tomorrow at noon. She just had surgery, folks.
Yeah.
And not some
She's
easy
unstoppable.
surgery. And not just easy surgery. It wasn't like, oh, I had part of a finger sewn together. No, she had major surgery, and then she's going to be doing her live here tomorrow at noon. So guys, go check that out, and then check out Beata as well. Go to her website. The link there is in the comments, guys. Gosh, if you want your life changed, man, I don't know anybody else to start with. So that's the website there. You can check her out. Thank you, Beata, so much for coming on the show. I do appreciate you taking the time. We need to have more of these conversations. So
absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So sit tight, Beata. Everybody else, I will be back tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. You know the drill. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace, love, and harmony, guys, and we'll get through this together. I will talk to you again tomorrow evening. Good night, everybody.